everybody, welcome to Morning Glory Farmstead. My name is Lolly and this channel is all about gardening, animals, and nature. Yesterday, I was outside with the dogs at the end of the day, letting them run around one more time before it was time to come in because the weather's going to get really bad. Starting in the morning, we're supposed to have sleet and ice and rain and maybe a little snow. And so I wanted them to get to romp around a little bit before things got too bad outside. And while I was out there, I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a video on my dogs and my cats because I always say this channel is about gardening, animals, and nature, but you just see kind of clips here and there of my cats or a dog or two or my chickens. But I wanted to show you what a special thing I have here with my animals at Morning Glory Farmstead. Now, I have family and I have grandkids, but besides that, my dogs, cats, and chickens are my quality of life. Now, if you've watched some of my other videos, you may have heard me talk about how animal rescue is a huge passion of mine, and this really started about 9 years ago. I was very naive to some things in the animal world, and I really got educated about animals and all of them out there that need homes, and I just kept running into situation after situation, and I kind of became this one-person rescue. I'm not a 501c3, although I have looked into it many times, but it is super expensive unless you know exactly what you're doing with the paperwork and you do it by yourself. But there's also the things like you've got to have board members and you've got to meet a certain amount of times during the year. And you also have to do social media and go out in public and try to get funding for food and to support these animals with all of their needs. And that's just not something that I'm able to do. I have a lot of health issues. And by the way, when I show you this video, if you haven't already watched my video about how my green stalks are saving my life, you're gonna see some of the things that I've talked about in that video, and I'll kind of point those out and talk you through it in this video. So each of my animals has a story as to why I have them. I'm not a breeder. Everybody is spayed, neutered, and chipped, all of the cats and all of the dogs. I was thinking about last night how I was going to have to get up super early this morning to go to the vet, and I did get up at 5 o'clock, had to let the chickens out a little bit earlier than usual because I knew when I went to the vet I was going to be there for a few hours. It doesn't matter if you have an appointment or if you're the first person at the vet, there is always a wait. So we got out of there around the 2-hour mark, which was pretty good, but boy, I tell you, that just wears the dogs out. But they got their badges of honor, they had to get their vaccines today for rabies. It's just that time again. And y'all, those treats were not a hit. Even when they took them in their mouths, they would end up just dropping them on the floor. I felt so bad. Ungrateful, spoiled dogs. And Bailey didn't even take it. She just smelled it and walked away. But they did a great job. Everybody's home and doing well. So I actually use 2 vets. I go to one because I can do walk-ins throughout the week or on Saturdays, and then I go to the other one because they do all of the spay and neutering for me, and I've also adopted some of their cats. And so I think over the last 8 or 9 years, I've probably had about 45 animals spayed, neutered, and chipped. I've lost some. I've had to put some down. There's been several who have needed surgeries and all kinds of things. It's just kind of an ongoing thing, but that is why it's called rescue. If you guys have any animal lovers in your life, feel free to share this video. This is just a snapshot of my life. Other than my family and grandkids, my dogs and my cats and my chickens are my priority, and I absolutely enjoy them. They are quality of life for me, and I've been doing this for the last 9 years. All right, so let me share some footage with you from yesterday. Now, I do not look my best. It's no makeup and some messy hair and just outside being myself, playing with my dogs. So my goal when I take the dogs outside to play is to get them to run and use up as much energy as possible, and I want them to stay healthy by exercising. Some of them just like to run, some of them like to walk around, and there's others that love to play ball. But my goal is to use my energy to kind of get them excited about being outside. Meanwhile, I kind of stay put as much as possible. If you guys watched my video on my lymphedema and how green stalks are saving my life, I have major issues with the left side from the hip down. It's probably about at least 2 times the size of my right side. This is related to cancer treatment that I had years ago. And now I have some residual effects. And the way it looks is not the worst of it. It's the infections that are life-threatening. In fact, when I did that video, I had been without an infection for a few months, but now I've been back on antibiotics for maybe 3 to 4 weeks, trying to deal with another infection. It could be because I had a few chicken nuggets with my grandkids, which I don't normally do, but I have to eat organic and I didn't. I cheated and I ended up very, very sick. So been recovering from that. But that left leg, you know, it is bigger and it looks awkward and it has all of the life-threatening infections that come with it. But, you know, when I'm outside, it's like lugging weights on that left side. And there's people with lymphedema who are way bigger than me. It's progressive. You know, I've been at it a few years and it's gotten a lot worse and it's just going to keep going. There's no cure for it. But it doesn't bend as well. I can't get on my knees and I kind of walk a little funny because it makes me lose my balance. And literally it's like kind of pulling something on the left side of my body. So it does look a little strange. The shape is completely different from my right leg. So even though I feel energetic, I've always been a high energy person. I really have to just kind of tone it down because of the pain and awkwardness of that leg. I've actually fallen several times because I will feel like I've picked my leg up enough, but I forget that it weighs so much more. My foot doesn't quite make it over whatever it is that I'm trying to step over, and I fall. So it is a hazard as well. But anyway, you can see that I get my dogs worked up and we play even with my leg the way it is, and then we kind of just wrap it up and I can walk back inside. Sometimes I'll have to go chase the ball or something. I just try to do as little as I can out there so that I don't get myself into a bind and have a hard time recovering. But you can see there, it's a little bit awkward looking. And I had said in that other video, you know, I didn't want to hide this from you guys. I want people to see it because I want people to see that you can still live even if you have some kind of disability or something that's a little bit different. You just live within your means. Whatever you can do, that's what you do. And if you can't do something, that's okay. Just don't do it. Lots of people have limitations. And I think that on social media and TV, we glorify beauty. We glorify things that aren't even natural anymore. And so I'm just out here being myself, dealing with what, you know, is a disability, and still living my life. And so really, it's just an encouragement that if you have something wrong with you, if you have illness, if you have chronic health conditions, it's okay. You are still alive. You can still be vibrant in spirit, and you just live within your means, whatever you can do. And here comes Donka, who runs at the speed of light, even after being outside playing for a long time. She has so much energy. And every time I throw the ball for George, she's right there running with him. She's not interested in the ball. She just likes to run and see what's going on. There goes Buster getting his ball. Sometimes Sadie will run a little bit of interference. But these are all my rescues. They are my babies. I love them. I enjoy them. My life is nothing glamorous, though. It's full of manual labor and hard work and trying to maintain some high energy levels to deal with all these animals. But I love it. There is not a day that I am not happy to get up and meet and do it all over again. Now it's time to round everybody up. It's actually getting really dark out now, and some of them like to run around and make me come get them and chase them inside. Like, do we really have to go inside already? They would stay out for a really long time if they could. This setup is super intentional. That white fence is aluminum. That's just their potty area. And then the wooden fence here is the large enclosure where they could just run and have a good time. And the reason I had this put up a few years ago is because of all of the predators around here, the coyotes and whatnot. I see coyotes all the time. I will never forget taking a picture of my daughter and her husband and one of their newborns, and behind them, a pack of about 10 coyotes started running behind them. And that was before I had this fence put in. It was a different fence that you could clearly get through. I was like, that is not going to work. However, my dogs do play supervised, even though they have this fenced in area, because I know for sure that predators come into my yard, and I know that because of what's happened to 2 flocks of my chickens in the past. And they clear those fences with no problem. So it does keep anything immediate from happening. It's a deterrent. My dogs can't get out and chase something that they shouldn't be chasing. So they have this area that I feel good about. And then my cats have I call it the catio. It's the patio, but it's really for my cats. It's where my green stalks have been, which is about to change because my cats are always eating my greens and sitting in the top of my green stalks. So I'm going to be moving that. Kind of let my cats have that area back. They were there first. That is their place to go out every single day, as long as it's not below freezing or, oh, well, I can't even say if it's not raining, because if the temperature is nice, I'll keep the window open and the door open that they use to get in and out. And they'll go sit underneath the awning out there where the gutters are and stuff, and sit on their little tables and stands and just sit out there with the rain, even though they're not directly in the rain. So they really like to be outside. So that's their little safe haven. I know for sure that cats get attacked around here because I've had several rescues come to me on my property with major injuries and horrible things that have happened. And so my cats will not be barn cats. They're not going to be out chasing mice or anything like that. I keep them very protected, very safe. A lot of them have had a lot of healing to go through. They've been through some traumatic things, and they really like being safe inside and then having that catio just to go out and lay in the sun. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed getting a glimpse into my life with all these beautiful creatures. I'll see you real soon in the next video. And until then, y'all have a great couple of days. Bye-bye.